Hi Pinewood Kids, it is our second week in the JTV series where we are following around our friend Jay and learning about forgiveness. This week, the theme is how I can forgive. That is our value this week. Again, we are going to go over our memory verse at the beginning so it really sinks in. So I have it bookmarked from last time, but let's flip to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. Ready? Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. All right, well, let's hop on over to see what happens this week with Jay and our other friends.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Jay from JTV. If you're just joining us, it's Jay. Just said it. All right, guys, welcome to JTV, the realest live stream in the world. Right now, I'm with my best friend Aaron and Dee Dee, the coolest girl I know.
Well, your numbers are about to go up. How many followers are you up to?
About 7. Boom! All right, guys, the other pranks were pretty lame. Now it's time to take it up a notch. Aaron, hit me the spider. All right, dude, we're gonna prank.
Jay, if I see that camera one more time, I'm gonna take it back to my desk and keep it until your parents come in. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir. All right, guys, he's gone.
Jay, turn it off, man.
What? I just got another follower. No way. Chill out.
Mr.
Chill out.
Marshall's
Oh
not
my.
playing around.
Aaron, are you serious? Look what you made me do. My camera's probably broken now.
I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean for it to fall.
What are you arguing about? Half the school can hear you. Jay,
Marshall.
is that a camera again?
Relax.
I'm taking this
No,
with
no,
me.
no, no, Mr. Marshall. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a big one. That's juicy, too. I'm gonna save that one for later.
All right, so we've got a few things to talk about. First off, the thing with Mr. Marshall, absolutely gross. I don't think Lulu's done anything that gross. Second off, me and Aaron aren't really talking after the incident, but we aren't gonna let that stop us. We have a plan to be as big as midnight. So in fact, we're gonna go even bigger and better. We're gonna get into school tomorrow and get started. Ain't that right, Lulu? All right, guys, best prank yet. Make sure you keep inviting your friends and tell them to check out my channel. We're gonna get more followers off of this. All right, guys, water balloon time. Hey, bro, hold this for me. I don't think you want to miss this. Hey, dude, try out these binoculars. They're sick. So, we're gonna replace the water that Dee Dee has with the one that's got hot sauce in it. It's gonna be so funny. Oh! Dee Dee,
Jay, are you serious? That was my first period homework.
Dee Dee, I am so sorry. That's not what I was trying to do.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Jay, just stop, okay? Just go away. No one's playing around with your tricks anymore.
Sorry. All right, guys. I really think I messed up this time. This isn't good, man. So, Aaron and Dee Dee are pretty upset with me. I didn't think things would get out of hand this fast, and it doesn't look like you guys are too happy with me either. But you gotta understand that. Yo, hold on. I got a message. I'll restart the live stream as soon as I'm done. But remember, smash that like button.
Yo, what's up, man? Jay, right?
No way. Are you kidding me? Midnight? No way. Is this real life?
It is. Hey, man, I want to let you know, I've been checking out your channel recently.
You like it? Man, I've got big plans for my channel. I'm thinking about starting new merch, hats, a whole new
All right, man, hold
clothing
up.
line, man.
I was actually reaching out because I was watching your channel today, man, and I saw some stuff that kind of made me feel uncomfortable.
I mean, with Aaron and Dee Dee?
Yeah, man, I saw what happened. You gotta know that messing with people like that, it's just not cool.
Well, I make pranks for my channel, and my followers really seem to like that stuff.
Forget your followers, you hurt your friends. Man, they seemed really upset. Have you had a chance to apologize yet?
No.
Bro, why not?
I don't know. Why do you care so much?
Because if you have 1 million followers but no real friends, man, what's the point? You can get likes and still be someone you like too, but honestly, man, not this way.
How did you do it?
Man, when I first started, I just wanted to go on adventures and hang out with my friends and play sports and games. But here's the thing, I never trash talked, and honestly, I never played any pranks on my friends that I knew would make them feel uncomfortable. I wanted to be known as a person they could trust. And I just invited as many people to be a part of what I was doing. And you'd be surprised at how many awesome people are just looking for a good friend.
Yeah, well, it's not me.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, what am I supposed to do to fix this? What would you do?
Look, man, you've hurt people, and you have to make sure that those people haven't lost any love for their longtime friend. First things first, you have to apologize to everybody and honestly ask for forgiveness.
Everybody?
Jay, make it right.
All right. For my 3 remaining viewers, tomorrow we're gonna make everything right. We're gonna get into school early and start something I wanna call Project Forgive Jay. It's gonna be hard, but are you guys with me? For my 1 remaining viewer, it was worth it.
All right, this week in our Bible story, we have a big story on forgiveness. We are going to read many parts of the story of Joseph and how Joseph forgave his brothers. I have my Bible all marked up in different spots of Genesis to kind of highlight some of the parts of this story that Joseph forgives his brother. So the first part, if you want to take a minute, I am going to turn to Genesis chapter 37, and we're going to start in verse 12. Okay, ready? Go find it. All right, here's the beginning of our Joseph story. Joseph sold by his brothers. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem, and Israel said to Joseph, "As you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I'm going to send you with them." "Very well," he said. So he said to them, "Go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me." Then he sent them off from the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, "What are you looking for?" He replied, "I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing the flocks?" "Well, they've moved on from here," the man answered. "I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. "Oh no! Here comes that dreamer." Oh, side note, Joseph had just interpreted a couple of dreams that had really upset his brothers. So this is why the brothers are angry. "Here comes that dreamer," they said to each other. "Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Don't shed any blood. Throw him into the cistern here in the desert, but don't lay a hand on him." Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the richly ornamented robe that he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. Now the cistern was empty. There was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he's our brother and our own flesh and blood." His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. So here in the story, Joseph just got sold by his brothers into Egypt. And this starts kind of a journey that seems really unfortunate. He's thrown into jail, he's deceived by all sorts of people, but it is made clear in the next pages that God is with Joseph the whole time. And when situations seemed so desperate and without hope, God was actually using it to lay the foundation for Joseph's future. So to fast forward, Joseph actually helps interpret the dreams for the Pharaoh of Egypt, and God helped Joseph interpret that dream, and the Pharaoh was so thrilled that he actually put Joseph in charge of all of Egypt. So let's read this part. I am flipping now to Genesis chapter 41, verse 41 through 44. So the Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh took his ring from his finger and put it onto Joseph's finger. He dressed him in robes of fine linen and a gold chain around his neck. He had him ride in a chariot as the second in command, and the men shouted before him, "Make way!" Thus he put him in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, but without your word, no one will lift a hand or foot in Egypt." So this just put Joseph in a position where he was able to help control all the food and money and supplies that Egypt had. So now flash forward that there's a famine, and Joseph's very brothers go to Egypt to try to get food because they're starving. So now I'm in Genesis chapter 42, verse 1 through 5. When Jacob, which is Joseph's dad, learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you just keep looking at each other?" He continued, "I have heard there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us, so that we may live and not die." Then 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt. But Jacob did not send their youngest brother Benjamin with the others because he was afraid that harm might come to him. So Israel's sons were among those who went to go buy grain, for the famine in the land of Canaan was great. So now, all of Joseph's brothers are on their way to go see Joseph to get food so they don't starve. But when they arrive, they don't realize that it's actually Joseph, their brother that they sold into slavery, still alive, sitting in the seat of power and handing out the grain himself. So then there's this part where Joseph sees his brothers and he knows his brothers, but his brothers don't recognize him. So we're going to read about the part which is the climax of when he forgives his brothers. Now I'm in chapter 45, verse 1. "So then, it was not you who sent me here, but God. He made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household and ruler of Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and say to him, 'This is what your son Joseph says. God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me and don't delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen and be near me, your children, you, your grandchildren, your flocks, your herds, and all you have. I will provide for you here because 5 years of famine are still to come. Otherwise, you and your household and all who belong to you would become destitute.'" So as long as that whole story, from the beginning when Joseph's brothers were angry and sold him into slavery, and his whole story through Egypt until he was in charge of Egypt itself, was all at the hands of God, because God was with Joseph. And Joseph knew that, and that's why he was able to forgive his brothers, was because he knew God was in charge and it was God's plan. I know it can really be hard to forgive people sometimes. Sometimes it's like a sibling, a brother or sister that annoys you. But I challenge you to think about how God is always with you. And God's heart is just to show you that every situation we go through. He's with us, and he wants us to see him in our story. So hopefully that encourages you, that you can forgive and I can forgive, and it sets us free. All right, happy Sunday. Catch you next week.